Hi everyone, welcome to Fresh Look Friday. I'm Miss Jackie at the Lakeville District Library, and today all of the books I have for you are for middle grade readers. And all of these books are about unlikely or unusual friendships. So the first one is the most unlikely and unusual of them all. This is called Ghostlight by Kenneth Oppel. Our main character is Gabe, and it takes place in present-day Toronto. And Gabe has a summer job at this lighthouse where he gives tours. He's 16 years old, and this is also where he meets Rebecca. Rebecca's also 16. However, she died back in 1839 when she was thrown off of the top of this lighthouse. So Gabe inadvertently wakes up Rebecca by repeating her name over and over as he gives the tours. And once she wakes up, she is desperate to get Gabe's attention because she wants his help finding her father, who was also killed at this lighthouse, and saving him from the evil ghost Vicar. Now, in this book, there are two types of ghosts. The ghosts that die and just move on to where they're supposed to go. And then there are malevolent ghosts who do not want to move on. They want to stay on Earth and interfere with the human world. So, after Rebecca gives Gabe a pretty good scare, he decides to help her. They can see each other and talk really clearly if they clasp hands, so he can see her. However, none of his other friends can. He also has a friend named Yuri and a new friend named Callie, and she writes a ghost blog. This group of friends decides to help Rebecca, and to do that they have to find the gemstone that goes at the top of this lighthouse that kills evil ghosts. And the ghosts become stronger by absorbing energy of other ghosts, and Vicar is getting stronger and stronger. So there are a lot of interesting ghosts, nice and mean ghosts in this book, and it's just a really fun story to read. So to find out if they're able to save Rebecca's father, read Ghostlight. Next, I have Morning Sun in Wuhan. This takes place in January of 2020, right at the outbreak of COVID-19. And Wuhan was kind of the front lines of the COVID-19 epidemic. This is a town where they started immediately putting people in lockdown. So May is our main character. She lives with her dad. Her mom died a year prior to the beginning of this book. She was in a traffic accident. So May lives alone with her dad. He is also a doctor, and he's busy a lot at the hospitals, especially at the outbreak of COVID-19. It's mostly just May living alone in her apartment. So one thing about May is she loves to cook. Her father wants her to focus more on her studies and her piano lessons, but May just adores cooking. And when they start putting people in lockdown, a lot of people don't have food or hot meals. And so May gathers her group of friends, and they volunteer to cook and deliver meals for the people, for the elderly or the people who can't get food or make food for themselves. And so this little group of friends becomes really close, helping out all of these people in Wuhan. And another fun thing about this book is it is peppered with delicious recipes. So in each chapter, May makes really delicious sounding food. And after the chapter, you'll see the recipe for what she's making. And so there are a lot of recipes in this book. They sound so delicious, and this book is going to make you very hungry while you're reading it for Chinese food. But it has a lot of recipes throughout this book that I actually want to try and cook. Let's see if I can find one here. Here's one for Kung Pao beef. Morning Sun in Wuhan. This book is called Looking for True by Tricia Springstubb. This takes place in modern times, and it's summer in this book. Let's start with Gladys. She is an adoptive child. She was in foster care for many years, where the doctors say she failed to thrive. So she's kind of on the small side. Everybody thinks that she's younger than she actually is. And she helps her mom take care of preschool kids during the day. And then we have Jude, and he's the same age as Gladys. However, he's on the large size. Everybody thinks that he's older than he actually is. And he takes care of his little brother during the day while his mom is at work. His dad died when he was little. So over the course of the summer, these two meet, and they do not like each other at first. They do not get along at all. But Gladys helps out Jude with his little brother one day when he's having a meltdown. And they both meet the cutest dog in the world. This dog's name is Pookie, but they didn't know that at the time, so they're calling him True because the dog has the truest blue, prettiest eyes. So they call the dog True. And True's owner is really mean with him and abusive, and they get it into their heads that they want to save True from the dog's mean owner. And then one day they find that the dog has gotten out and it's loose, and they're trying to catch True, and they hide True away. Now neither of them can take True home with them because Gladys's dad is really allergic to dogs, and Jude's mom is terrified of dogs because she was attacked by a dog when she was little. So they have no idea how they're going to save this dog. All they know is they want to save it. It's such a cute dog. To see if they can save this dog, read Looking for True. Okay, so this book is called The House That Wasn't There by Elana K. Arnold. This takes place in modern times in Los Angeles, and it starts out with Alder. He lives with his mom. His dad died when he was little, so it's just the two of them. And then there is an empty house next to them. But one day they find that it was purchased, and a little girl and her mom moves in. But before they move in, this new family has this beautiful tree that's growing between the two houses cut down, and it just devastates Alder and his mom because that tree meant a lot to them. They had a family portrait in front of that tree when Alder was little with his mom and his dad, and now it's gone. So already Alder and his mom have reason to really dislike this new family that's moving in. The little girl that moves in, her name is also a tree name. So we got Alder and we have Oak. So this book is just full of coincidences, and you're going to find out at the end how they all kind of weave together. So they ride the bus together, but Alder does not want anything to do with Oak. One day Alder's mom decides that Alder needs a pet. So she takes him to a pet store, and he adopts this little cat. The cat has a sibling, but the mom would only let him adopt one cat. And then come to find out a few weeks later, Oak has also adopted the cat, and it happens to be the sibling to this little cat. So the cats love to be together. So Oak and Alder find that they kind of have to be friends to get their cats together to play, to make them happy. And then all of a sudden you're going to feel like you're in a C.S. Lewis book. And that's all I can really say about that because it's just magical. And they start becoming friends, and Oak makes friends at school, and so they all have their little group. Alder is also a knitter, and so he teaches his new friends how to knit, and he even brings in his old friends into this big, growing big group of friends. So to find out all of the amazing coincidences and how this little friendship comes together, read The House That Wasn't There. Next, we have The Fort by Gordon Korman. This one is my favorite of the bunch. I will read anything by Gordon Korman. He is a magical storyteller. So this takes place again in modern times. It starts with Evan. He's one of the main characters. And Evan and his brother's parents kind of abandoned them when they were smaller. And so Evan's being raised by his grandparents. And a storm hits the town, and Evan's grandma invites another little boy to stay with them while his house is being repaired because of the storm. And so we meet Ricky. He's a new kid in town. He's really smart for his age. And Evan kind of resents his presence because he's a year younger, but yet he's still in the same grade as Evan because he is so smart. And so that Saturday, Evan and Ricky decide to go find their fort and see if it's still standing after the big storm that they had. All of the friends meet up at the fort, and next we meet Jason, and he's an athlete, and he is going through a hard situation with his parents because they're going through a really ugly divorce. And then we meet Mitchell, and he has OCD, and his mom lost her job, and so she can no longer afford his psychiatry appointments, and his OCD is really getting bad because of that. And last we have CJ, and all of the boys are really kind of jealous of CJ because he lives with his mom and his stepdad, and his stepdad will buy him anything new under the sun, all of the latest games and bicycles and skateboards, and so they think that he really has it good. So when the boys meet at this fort, they find that it is just devastated, it is gone. And in its place, they find actually something new. They discover an underground bunker that's been hidden for decades. And they go down into the bunker and they find it has electricity, it has a TV, it has a kitchenette, it has really old cans of beans, and it's just the perfect new fort for them. So this becomes kind of their hangout, and they don't want to tell anyone. They want to keep it a secret. However, things start happening with CJ. All of the boys think that he is a daredevil because he's always falling off of his bike or doing some sort of fancy tricks on his bike and winding up with black eyes or scrapes or cuts. However, what the boys don't realize or don't know yet is that CJ's stepfather is really abusive and scary. He has a temper on him, and he hits CJ. And CJ tries to cover it up by doing tricks on his bike and hiding it from everyone. He doesn't want anyone to know. However, it takes the smart one, Ricky, to finally figure out what's going on with CJ. And the boys group together to try and help CJ in his very scary and difficult situation. So read The Fort if you want to find out what happens to this unique, fabulous group of friends. All of these books are available either as audiobooks or e-books if you want to check them out on one of our platforms like Libby, Access 360, or Hoopla. So I hope that you found something today that you'd like to read. You can come into the library and check these out or give us a call. We are very happy to help you find a wonderful book to read. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.